I have discovered certain aspects of things that will possibly help eradicate or reverse the advancement of dementia into Alzheimer's. It could possibly, for some people, even turn the effects around if it's all done in combination. Every individual is different. Every person's, let's say, toxicity or problematic source is different, but there has been studies going on since the late 70s, early 80s on problems with dementia, and they have claimed, the medical research, that they know what is causing it. The problem is that there are multiple sources that are manufacturing and using one of the main toxins that could be causing this, and the lobbying force, let's say, just like back in the 70s, where tobacco companies were literally, early 60s, 70s, were advertising and have doctors or fake doctors telling people that smoking cigarettes will calm you down or is actually healthy for you. That's how far the evil will go when it comes to this. As far as dementia and things, I believe there are several factors that are contributing, if not one of your loved ones having multiple of these factors going on at the same time, which you can reverse the effects of these by removing the problematic cause. It is not a natural occurrence for your brain to build up amyloid plaque, for all the nerve cells and them to form bundles and you to lose the ability to recognize a loved one. This is a new industrial, pharmacological, possibly created problem. Hello, thank you, and welcome to this episode of Alzheimer's and Love. So if you're watching this particular episode here, I know that you are curious and you're probably even desperate, trying to find answers about a loved one who's now starting to suffer from dementia, or maybe even starting to slip into early stage of Alzheimer's. When we went to the doctor to try to get answers to help her in the beginning, we got absolutely zero, complete nada help at all. All they told us was it's irreversible, take care of them, and there's nothing you can do. We had all kinds of scans done to her brain, even went to neurologists, people who are supposed to be brain scientists. They're supposed to be the absolute experts on the brain, and now what's becoming the third largest killer in the world, dementia and Alzheimer's, people slipping into. The neurologist told us there was nothing that could be done. Now, this is very strange because you hear patients who have, they have cancer. Perhaps they've done whatever their oncologist has told them to do. They are in stage 4, some kind of cancer. They are told to go home, use hospice, and get their affairs in order. And suddenly, out of nowhere, someone will call them, some expert in another field, perhaps a veterinarian, will call them and tell them, hey, take this substance. And the next thing you know, it's 14 years later, and this person has no cancer anymore. But the expert in the field told them there is zero they can do, and they've done everything medically possible, and they look them in the face and they lie to them. And what we're realizing now is that we went to the experts, and it took me several years, even myself being an expert in the field of nutritional studies and things. You find that it takes a long time when the purpose of a disease is to, from the mainstream and the profitability, people out there profiting from these things, their job is to hide what is occurring, why it is occurring. And let's say it is a huge manufacturing company that's producing something toxic. They are going to lobby the governments or someone to help hide it. Let's say the same people that own the media companies, or they advertise on all the news stations. It's going to be their job also to hide the fact that they are creating poisons that are harming people. So from all of my studies, take it as you will, for nearly 20 years, I have been investigating things. I'm going to tell you that I do believe not only are these things occurring to us from outside means, that people involved at the highest levels know what is causing the problem, and they are profiting from it. In fact, they are hiding any evidence, any natural means, any simple or inexpensive means to try to save people or help them. They don't care about them, and they view you as less than human. That is from intense, in-depth studies nearly every single day for 20 years investigating. So I'm just letting you know what you're up against. Some doctors escape this paradigm of the control mechanism, and they become whistleblowers, or they come out and they start telling people the truth. However, they are only reaching a few people at a time. just like when you go onto certain platforms that have a lot of people and could possibly reach a lot of people to help them, you're not going to get that reach because the advertisers for the people producing certain things that don't want it, who are profiting off of sickness, they don't want certain messages to get out there. This is why I'm going to tell you now, I have discovered certain aspects of things that will possibly help eradicate or reverse the advancement of dementia into Alzheimer's. It could possibly, for some people, even turn the effects around if it's all done in combination. Every individual is different. Every person's, let's say, toxicity or problematic source is different, but there has been studies going on since the late 70s, early 80s on problems with dementia, and they have claimed, the medical research, that they know what is causing it. The problem is that there are multiple sources that are manufacturing and using one of the main toxins that could be causing this, and the lobbying force, let's say, just like back in the 70s, where tobacco companies were literally, early 60s, 70s, were advertising and have doctors or fake doctors telling people that smoking cigarettes will calm you down or is actually healthy for you. That's how far the evil will go when it comes to this. As far as dementia and things, I believe there are several factors that are contributing, if not one of your loved ones having multiple of these factors going on at the same time, which you can reverse the effects of these by removing the problematic cause. It is not a natural occurrence for your brain to build up amyloid plaque, for the all the nerve cells and them to form bundles, and you to lose the ability to recognize a loved one. This is a new industrial, pharmacological, possibly created problem. And so what we have done, because we cannot speak of it here, cannot tell you about it, cannot reference to it on any of these platforms, because they would just absolutely remove you. Someone would try to sue you. So we have created a webinar. You can go to it, you can join, and in this webinar, I will discuss things you can do according to what the medical literature is saying about things, and common sense, things you may not think of, things that may take you several years to try to figure out. And by that time, like our mother, your loved one could advance too far into the stage, because they say on average, once you get Alzheimer's, you only have about 4 years to live because of the advancement of it. So I'm going to go over just some common sense in layman's terms, things to look at and do that could possibly save your loved one, because I care and I hate evil. All right. And I know for a fact the things we are against now that are running these big companies that are telling us they're for our own good and running advertisement, they're evil and run by evil people. Okay. And it's not just for money. There is a purpose behind it, I think, on a spiritual level. But that's just my personal beliefs. So also within this, I'm going to include information and a kind of like a outline sheet of information of different steps of things that you are going to face while this process, and maybe a healing process, is going on. But there are things to do when dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia to protect your loved one and their assets and your family's sanity as you're dealing with this. Things we've experienced over the past 5 years, we've had to go through where no one ever told us this information, like getting different types of powers of attorney for protecting assets and looking out for different foods and things they may be eating that are causing problems. It's a list of things that are absolute things you should know and prepare and do along with this, that are vital in the circumstances to prevent you from having so much incredible stress and heartache and pain and worry on you. We're going to include this possibly as a download or part of the webinar, depending on how long it takes. But easy to learn stuff. It'll seem like common sense once I tell you, but I cannot mention it on any platform and come right out and tell, because they will just absolutely suppress your channel. No one will ever get to learn about it. I can't say anything like it's a cure. All I can say is from the medical studies and the research, it does show promising effects as far as helping diminish the rate of advancement, and possibly even reversing it to an extent that's as far as I can say anything. But so if you care about your loved one and you really care about doing something to help them, I will tell you, even the neurologist, smartest people were supposed to be the smartest. All the doctors we went to in this, they were zero help. In fact, I would have saved our money and time and never went, because that's how worthless they were, which tells me what is really going on is the sources above them are forcing them to tell you that there's nothing that can be done, or whatever they do offer you, some kind of drug or whatever, they don't tell you the side effects of it. They give you limited hope with it, but that's their only source of giving you information or possible help, is a type of petrochemical drug that's not going to cure anything. So there you go. I'm going to give you the information that I learned about. It took me years to finally find it, and then several other things that are could be commonalities within this, but it took me over 4 years to find this information, because there's no channel out there, no article on the internet that referred to any of this. So I'm going to put it in a webinar. And if you would like to make a donation to Alzheimer's in Love, help us out in producing things, we would sure like that. And I will tell you, it is information that I would have given anything to know when my mother first had signs, because we possibly could have stopped its advancement. So I'm hoping we can help you if you're in that circumstance, because it's one of the most painful things to watch someone you love so much advance into the stages, and it's just awful. It's worse than any other disease I know, because you're literally alive, but you don't know anyone around you that you spent your whole life building love and friendship with. So I hope this helps. There'll be a link below, and please make a donation to help us further spread and give people hope. All right, we'll see you soon. I'm Dan Collier for Alzheimer's in Love.